Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of the Ultimate Beginner Guide to IndyCar. If you missed part 1 and 2, part 1 we covered the tracks, and part 2 we covered all the cars and the regulations. So there'll be a link in the description, and there'll be also a link at the end of this video. There'll also be a playlist with all of them. By the way, you don't have to watch all of them in order. So if you just got recommended this, you can watch this video and then go check out the other ones if you so wish to. They don't have to be in order. They work as their own videos, but it's a whole series. You can watch all of them if you want to. And I'd appreciate if that you did that, and I would appreciate if you went and dropped me a like and subscribe. Because this series of videos took me a really long time to make. So yeah, let's get right into the drivers. Okay, so let's get into the drivers of this season. So there's going to be 33 full-time drivers. So first up, we're gonna start with the lowest budget teams and go up to the biggest budget teams. So first up, we got Junkers Hollinger Racing. I don't know if I said that correctly. I'm sorry if I didn't. So they will be running a Chevy engine, and their two drivers will be Callum Ilott. He's a previous F2 driver here. He had a pretty successful F2, but he didn't quite get a seat in F1, what kind of sucks for him, but he is in IndyCar too, which he had a pretty good season last year. Of course, he didn't have a brilliant season because it was just he didn't have a super good car, but hopefully he can have a better season this year. And then his teammate will be Agustin Cabanino. I don't know if I said that correctly. I'm sorry if I completely butchered that name. This guy, actually, when I was doing research for this video, I was like, okay, who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is. And it turns out he's actually an Argentinian stock car / touring car driver. He's 33 years old, and throughout his many years of stock car / touring cars, he has got a total of 17 championships across different series. He's also got runner-up in an additional 17 so in total, including his wins, he's came in the top 3 31 times, which is just insanity. I noticed also throughout his years he was running stock car racing alongside stock car racing, so that's the reason how he accrued that many championships and runner-up medals. So that's pretty impressive. So next up we had Ed Carpenter Racing, and they will as well be running Chevys this year. So their first driver will be Conor Daly. He'll be driving the number 20. He made his debut in 2013, and he has currently had 97 starts, 0 wins, 1 pole position, and 1 podium. Well, that's pretty good stats. Their next driver is Rinus VK, will be running the number 21. He had a debut season in 2020, and he's had 46 starts. He's had 1 win, 4 podiums, and 2 pole positions. Was pretty good. Next up, we have Meyer Shank Racing, which will be running Hondas. So their two drivers are Helio Castroneves, which he debuted. Well, technically he debuted in 1998 with kart. So I think he's actually the oldest member of the grid. So he debuted in 1998. That's insane. So he's had 295 starts, 25 wins, 84 podiums, and 40 poles, that's some impressive stats right there. Next, his teammate will be Simon Pagenaud. He'll be running the number 60. He debuted in 2011. He has had 185 starts, 15 wins, 38 podiums, and 14 poles. Next up, we have Rahul Lanigan Racing. They're also running Hondas, so their first driver is Graham Rahal. He'll be riding the number 15. He made his debut in 2008. He's had 244 starts, 6 wins, 28 podiums, and 3 pole positions. His teammate will be Jack Harvey, which made his debut in 2014. He'll be running the number 30. He has had 64 starts, 0 wins, 1 podium, and 0 poles, which I don't expect anything great from him, but it's good to see him returning. Hopefully he can have a breakout year, but I don't know. So, and then the third member of that team will be Christian Lundgaard. Well, I think he'll have a pretty good last year was his rookie year. He had a pretty good year. He 18 starts, 0 wins, 1 podium, 0 poles, which that's not actually bad statistics for his first start. He got a podium, so hopefully he can improve on that this year. I'm looking forward to see how he does. Next up, we have Dale Coyne Racing. They will as well be running Hondas, so they have, for their number 1 driver, they have David Malukas, which last year was his debut season in 2022. He has 17 starts, 0 wins, 1 podium, and 0 poles. That's pretty impressive for his first year. So I'm hoping to see some improvement. So, and then partnering with him will be Ray Robb. Well, it's kind of a interesting name. That's a pretty cool name actually. So this is going to be his rookie season. So I'm going to go over his. So in 2020, he was at Indy Pro 2000. He won that. In 2021, he was in Indy Lights. He came 8th. And then last year, he came runner-up. He came 2nd in Indy Lights. So he does seem like a very capable driver. In the last 3 years, he's had all top 10. So that's always good to see. So he's definitely going to be an interesting one. So we'll see how he does. Next up, we have AJ Foyt Enterprise. They're also running Chevrolet. So their first driver is Santino Ferrucci. He debuted in 2018 and he had 43 starts, 0 wins, 0 podium, 0 poles. So I'm hoping he can have a good season this year, but I'm not very too hopeful. Looking at his record sheet isn't too great and he's not switched teams. So unless there's some sort of crazy improvement from his side and the car improves, I don't see that to be too much of an improvement. So partnering him is Benjamin Patterson. So Benjamin Patterson he was a previous Indy Lights driver. So again, with him, I'm looking at his Indy Lights stats. In Indy Lights in 2021, he got 0 ones, 6 podiums, and 0 poles. And then in 2022, he got 1 win, 5 podiums, 1 pole. So he's a contender for Indy Lights, but he didn't have like a dominant season. I would have liked to see him, get 3 or 4 wins, and then I could determine he was a good driver. But so far, I haven't seen that he's necessarily going to be a huge, force to be reckoned with. So we'll wait and see. Maybe he adapts to the car really well, and he has a really good season. But I don't know. So now we're going to get into some of the more bigger teams and more well-known teams. So for Andretti Autosport, they will be running Hondas this year. So their first driver will be Colton Herta. He made his debut in 2018. He's so far had 65 starts, 7 wins, 11 podiums, 9 poles. So he has a pretty good record book, and I've said this before in one of my previous videos. I like him. He's definitely a driver that could go places. There's even rumors of him going to F1 and having test with McLaren, and so if he can just get his act together and not crash as much as he does, he could win the championship, in my opinion. So next up, his teammate will be Kyle Kirkwood. Well, he actually had a pretty good season last season. Of course, it wasn't great, but the most important thing I want to talk about is he had an insanely dominant Indy Lights championship. In 2021, he dominated Indy Lights with 10 wins out of 20 races, and he got 14 podiums. That is domination. That's like, some Max Verstappen / Sebastian Vettel level domination in Indy Lights. So I do expect to see some good stuff with him. Now he's with a better team, because last year he was with AJ Foyt Racing. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm kind of excited for that. Next up, we have Romain Grosjean. He's obviously, most people probably know Romain Grosjean. He's most famously for driving in F1, crashing and almost dying. He burned all his hands up, but he's had a pretty good start to his IndyCar career. He's had 30 starts, 0 wins, 4 podiums and 1 pole. So I'm hoping to see him getting his maiden win, what would be pretty awesome. I definitely think he might be able to get his maiden win at the Indy Road Course. I think he's pretty good at that track. That's probably one of his better tracks I've seen over the recent years. So hopefully he can do that. So next up is Devlin DeFrancesco. So he is running. This is his second year in IndyCar. He has 17 starts, 0 wins, 0 podiums, and 0 poles. So maybe he can have some improvement this year, so we'll see. Next up, we have Arrow McLaren, and they will be running a Chevy engine. So their first driver, Pagenaud, what debuted in 2020. He's made 47 starts, 4 wins, 14 podiums, and 5 pole positions. Well, that's pretty good stats right there for a fairly new driver. So hopefully he can be. I definitely think he could be in the championship fight this year. There's rumors of him going to F1 at some point, so hopefully that could come for him. That would be really awesome. So one of his teammates is going to be Felix Rosenqvist, what made his debut in 2019. He has 62 starts, 1 win, 4 podiums, and 3 pole positions. This is a new driver for Arrow McLaren. Alexander Rossi will be driving for Arrow McLaren. He previously was racing for Andretti, but then he decided to take the switch over to Arrow McLaren. What's going to be an interesting one for him, because he had a pretty good, the beginning part of his career with Andretti went really well, and then it seemed like as he was there for a long period of time, he kind of slowed down. I don't know if it was some team problems or I don't know, but anyway, he's had 114 starts, 8 wins, 28 podiums, and 1 pole. So hopefully he can have another good year. He's definitely another guy who can fight for the championship. Next up, we have Chip Ganassi Racing. They'll be running Hondas. Their first driver will be Marcus Ericsson. He made his debut in 2019. He previously raced for Sauber F1 team. That was pretty good. So he's had 63 starts, 3 wins, 7 podiums, and 0 poles. One of them wins was an Indy 500 win, so that's pretty impressive. He managed to get an Indy 500 win, and that was pretty good. The next driver is Scott Dixon, which he's basically the Lewis Hamilton of IndyCar. He debuted in 2003. Well, technically, he debuted in 2001 in kart, but that's how that works, because there was a big split. I'm not going to get into that right now. So he's had 329 starts, 52 wins, 128 podiums, and 27 poles. That's pretty impressive stats right there. Next up, we have Alex Palou, who made his debut in 2020. He has a championship under his belt. He has 57 wins, 4 wins, 15 podiums, and 1 pole position. His stats are not like crazy. He hasn't got like a ton of wins, but he managed to get a championship. So that just proves to you it's not all about just how you can perform in how many races wins you get. So next up, we have Marcus Armstrong, which he's definitely a pretty good contender. He was previously an F2 driver. He will only be running the road and street courses, and Takuma Sato will be running the oval portion for that car. He previously finished 13th last year in F2, and the previous year, he also finished 13th. Was kind of funny. He 13th, 2 13s in a row. That's kind of unlucky, I guess. Actually, it's really unlucky. 13 is an unlucky number, so... Next up, we have Team Penske, and Penske will be running Chevys. So their first driver will be Josef Newgarden. He debuted in 2012. He's had 181 starts, 24 wins, 47 podiums, and 16 poles. So he's definitely going to be he was in the championship fight last year, and he's definitely going to be up there this year. I can almost guarantee it. And his teammate will be Scott McLaughlin. He made his debut in 2021. He's had 34 starts, 3 wins, 8 podiums, and 3 pole positions, which he's definitely going to be in the championship fight this year. In one of my previous videos, I even predicted he's going to be the champion. So let's see if that prediction comes true. And then finally, Will Power, the previous year champ, he debuted in 2005. He's made 238 starts, 39 wins, 88 podiums, and 61 poles. I think he's currently the pole record holder of IndyCar. So that will be the drivers. And that's going to be it for this video. If you have any further questions about IndyCar, I'll be happy to answer them. And I just want to ask you guys a quick favor. If you guys could like and subscribe to my channel. This video took me a really long time to research and film and everything, and I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Bye.